up on that as said, and we will proceed to update you accordingly in that. And President Uhuru Kenyatta is set to address the nation. Only a few members will be allowed in the National Assembly chambers this afternoon as that address continues. That is in Parliament. The president's second last address is expected to take stock of his administration's big four agenda, the looming referendum, as well as the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Our very own Elizabeth Mutuko is in Parliament for us and now joins us live. Elizabeth, how is the mood like down there?
Well, good afternoon, Linda Leila. Just as you've confirmed by to that, President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to be addressing the nation on the state of nation and more so what they have achieved, the achievements and the progress they have made as the Jubilee government. Not only that, I'll be speaking to members of parliament to hear what are their expectations, and apart from expectations, I'm made to understand only few members of parliament will be allowed in the chamber where President Uhuru Kenyatta will be addressing from. But this time, allow me to talk to Chris Wamalo Akimin, member of parliament, to hear what his expectations are. Mheshimiwa, thank you for your time. I understand President is going to address. First of all, are you amongst the members who are going to be in the chambers?
Yes, as you are aware, with the Minister of Health protocols pertaining the corona pandemic, not everybody will be in plenary. But as Parliament, we were sent a link. If you wish to attend, you have to sign in. And I was lucky, I'm among the people who've been invited. So I'm going to be there in the plenary as I listen to His Excellency the President. And as he comes, there are a lot of expectations. You know, there are so many challenges in this country. And the President is coming to address Parliament in line with Article 132 of the Constitution, where he's obligated to have a special sitting at least once per year to tell Kenyans in terms of security. What is the status of security in this country? What has the government put in place? What measures have they put in place to ensure that the Kenyans are secure? And when we talk of security, we are looking at the economy. The economy is also a part of the security of Kenyans, the food security. We have a big challenge. And remember, food security is one of the critical pillars in the Big Four agenda for the Jubilee government. So the president needs to tell Kenyans, we have a lot of issues of unemployment. Many people have lost jobs because of corona issue. So we expect the president to touch on matters of corona. Secondly, the president is also expected to report on international obligation. As you are aware, Kenya does not operate in isolation. Kenya has signed many treaties, many conventions, and in line with our constitution, any convention, any treaty that has been ratified by Parliament, it becomes part and parcel of our laws. So the president will give a publication to show to what extent has he fulfilled this international obligation. And lastly, the president is supposed to address the issue of Article 10 of the Constitution, which talks about principles of governance. And when you look at Article 10 of the Constitution, it touches on matters of integrity, matters of devolution, matters of public participation. To what extent has this country achieved Article 10 of the Constitution? And what measures has the government put in place when it comes to achievement of this Article 10 of the Constitution? And this is whereby, when you talk of governance, this is the issue of the BBI comes in. Because we are aware the president has been on the front line for the issues of the BBI. The BBI report has come out. And this BBI report is going to address matters of governance. So we expect His Excellency the President to give way forward to the Kenyans. Because as we speak right now, we've seen the religious leaders speaking, saying the President, this report must be amended because it has touched on the independency of some institutions, independency of some commissions of Chapter 15 of the Constitution. For example, the BBI report is interfering with the independence of the police service. It's interfering with the independence of the judiciary. It's interfering with the independence also of IBC. So people have read the report and they have their concerns. So is there room for these concerns to be incorporated? Or as others have clearly said, that there's no room for change. But the backstops are the president, not those other people. The backstops are the president, and this is an opportunity that the president must tell the nation, where are we when it comes to matters of BBI? Yeah, so those are the three critical things the president is supposed to address.
There is the issue of referendum as a nation. Do you think we are ready, and do you expect the president also to touch on this?
Yeah, when you talk of BBI, the referendum is in. Because when you look at the recommendations of the BBI, those recommendations can only be achieved through three methods. One, it must be through a referendum. For example, when you interfere with the independency or anything to do with the independent commissions, it is a referendum matter. When you interfere with the functions of parliament, for instance, if you're going to have the executive, the prime minister, the ministers coming to sit on the floor of the house, that means you are interfering with the functions of parliament, and that can only be achieved through a referendum. As we speak right now, we are under the presidential system. But when you want to go back to parliamentary system or a hybrid system, that can only be done through a referendum. We also have issues that can be done through parliamentary initiative. For example, in the BBI report, they have proposed the increment of the county revenue allocation from 15% to 35%. That doesn't need a referendum. It can be done through a parliamentary initiative. I've seen talking about the university students being given a grace period of 4 years, others being given 7 years, the youth starting projects. That doesn't need a referendum. It doesn't need a parliamentary initiative. It only needs a policy. The cabinet, they just call Higher Education Loans Board and they say you want to do this a policy issue. So there are three ways that you can be able to achieve these matters of BBI. So the critical, most difficult thing is the referendum. We start with the policy, can be done through simple policy. When the cabinet is sitting, it can be passed. Secondly, there are those which can be done through a parliamentary initiative. For example, amending of the constitution to change the allocation of revenue to the counties from 15% to 35%. That only needs a parliamentary initiative. Then lastly, the referendum, where the popular initiative going to the people. That one is where you interfere with the functions of parliament. When you say the issue of the prime minister coming in, that means you've changed from the presidential system to either parliamentary system or hybrid system. That one you must go through the referendum. Interference with the Police Service Commission, the Judicial Service Commission, Parliamentary Service Commission, all independent commissions in Chapter 15, you must go through a referendum way.
The last issue from me, you've talked about amending the proposal and the report. Which majority of people feel that that is not needed, especially the proponents of BBI? As a leader, what is your take on this?
To me, when we want to amend the constitution, we are amending constitution for prosperity of this country. And if there are issues of critical magnitude, I think the committee must listen. Let's listen and amend accordingly so that we can have everyone on board. An issue, for instance, of the interference of the judiciary, the issue of the ombudsman, it is a matter that must be looked into. We don't want people to go and just stamp and say, we don't want to open up. No. And let's hear from the president. He's the head of state. Forget about other people from their side shows, whoever they are. Let's wait for His Excellency the President to say, I was in Bomas and he said there's room for improvement. So I don't want to trust what other people are saying. Let's wait for His Excellency. He's the one who was given the mandate by the Kenyans. He's the CEO of this country. Whatever he's going to say, we'll comment after that. Thank you.
That has been Chris Wamarwa expounding more on the State of Nation address, where he feels some matters needs to be addressed, and especially BBI and more so amendments. If my camera person can just pan around and show you what is panning and what is going on in this place, as you can see, more preparations, more beefing up of the security in this place as we wait few minutes before the president enters in the parliament, where only few members will be in the chambers to assure that we follow the COVID-19 guidelines. That just band, which will be welcoming the president with the national anthem and also East African anthem. For more in this, I'll be here to ensure that I recapture each and everything in our subsequent bulletin.